Have you ever noticed how, no matter what you achieve, there's always this nagging feeling of wanting more? Maybe you land a great job, buy that gadget you've been eyeing for months, or finally reach a personal goal, but then after a little while, the joy fades. What gives? Why is contentment so hard to hold on to? Well, in this episode, we're diving into the science of dissatisfaction, why humans are wired to never feel truly content, and how this can actually be both a blessing and a curse. Spoiler alert, it's not just you, it's your brain playing tricks on you. Let's kick things off with the concept of the hedonic treadmill. No, it's not a fancy piece of gym equipment. It's a psychological idea that explains why happiness is so fleeting. The basic idea is that we adapt to positive changes quickly, and after a short period, we return to a baseline level of happiness, no matter how great the new circumstances are. Think about it. You finally get that promotion, and at first, you're over the moon. But after a few weeks or months, it starts to feel like just another job. Or maybe you move into your dream house, but eventually you get used to it, and it doesn't bring the same level of joy. This is the hedonic treadmill at work, constantly pushing you to want more, even when you've already got plenty. From an evolutionary standpoint, this makes sense. Our ancestors needed to keep striving, whether for food, shelter, or social status, to survive. If they had been too content, they might have stopped hunting or gathering, which wouldn't have ended well. So, in a way, dissatisfaction has helped keep the human race alive. But in modern life, this tendency to adapt means that the happiness from new experiences, things, or achievements doesn't stick around for long. It's like we're running on a treadmill that never really gets us anywhere. You've probably heard of dopamine, the so-called feel-good neurotransmitter. But here's the twist. Dopamine isn't actually the chemical that makes you feel good when you achieve something. It's more about anticipation. Dopamine is released when you're chasing a goal or desiring something, not when you actually get it. It's why that rush you feel while hunting for a new outfit or saving up for a vacation is often more intense than the feeling you get once you actually buy the clothes or go on the trip. The anticipation creates excitement, but the result? Meh, not as thrilling. This is why shopping can feel so addictive. Every time you browse or consider buying something, your brain releases a little shot of dopamine. But as soon as you actually get the item, the thrill fades. It's the chase, not the catch, that keeps you hooked. This constant cycle of desire and satisfaction means we're always seeking the next thing, convinced it will finally make us happy. Spoiler, it rarely does. Now let's talk about another major culprit in the dissatisfaction game: social comparison. We've all been there. You scroll through social media and see someone's vacation photos, a new car, or their seemingly perfect life, and suddenly, whatever you were content with a minute ago seems a lot less exciting. Humans have a natural tendency to compare themselves to others. Back in the day, this might have meant comparing your hunting skills to someone else's or your social standing in the tribe. Today, it's about comparing your life to the carefully curated highlight reels of others on Instagram, Facebook, or wherever you hang out online. Here's the thing. When we compare ourselves to others, we often focus on what we lack, rather than appreciating what we have. We zero in on the one area where someone else seems to have more, and we feel inadequate. This fuels dissatisfaction, even if we were perfectly content before seeing that post. In fact, studies show that people who spend more time on social media are more likely to feel dissatisfied with their lives. It's like social media is a big magnifying glass, amplifying all the ways we think we're falling short. We live in a world with more options than ever before, whether it's choosing between dozens of brands of cereal or swiping through countless profiles on dating apps. But here's the kicker. More choices don't necessarily make us happier. In fact, they often make us less happy. This is called the paradox of choice. The more options we have, the harder it is to make a decision. And once we do, we're often left wondering if we made the right one. Should I have picked that other vacation spot? Did I buy the best phone? Is there a better person out there for me? This constant second-guessing leads to regret, which only fuels dissatisfaction. We're stuck wondering what if instead of enjoying what we've got. Our dissatisfaction isn't just about what we want, it's also shaped by what we expect. When our expectations are too high, reality often falls short. It's like when you go to a restaurant with sky-high expectations and the food is just meh. The food may not even be bad, but because your expectations were so high, you leave feeling disappointed. The same happens with life. We often build up scenarios in our minds about jobs, relationships, or experiences that are nearly impossible to live up to. And when reality doesn't match up, cue dissatisfaction. Interestingly, this is why people in some studies report feeling more content when they lower their expectations or practice gratitude. When you're not constantly chasing an ideal, you're more likely to appreciate what you already have. Believe it or not, dissatisfaction isn't all bad. It's actually one of the driving forces behind progress. After all, if no one was ever dissatisfied with the status quo, we'd never strive for innovation or self-improvement. In fact, dissatisfaction is often what motivates us to set goals and push for something better. It's why people write novels, start companies, or run marathons. The key is finding a balance, using dissatisfaction as fuel for growth without letting it dominate your life. So, while it's normal to want more, it's also important to recognize when enough is enough. So, why are we never satisfied? It turns out we're hardwired for it. Between the hedonic treadmill, dopamine-driven desire, social comparison, and the paradox of choice, we're always chasing the next thing. But knowing why we feel this way can help us break the cycle, or at least manage it better. Next time you find yourself itching for more or comparing your life to someone else's, take a step back. Remind yourself that it's normal to feel this way, but also think about how you can appreciate what you already have. Thanks for joining this episode, and remember, the secret to contentment might not be about getting more, but about enjoying the journey.